So,
Now, I'd love to know about your drag name. As you say that you have chosen Maya as your drag name. So, what role has Maya or Mayama, as you say, has played in your life? What was your idea behind choosing this as your drag name?
so, like, I can't just say that, oh, I looked at one word from the dictionary and I got it. No, I won't say that. Like how I said that I go to I like go to a supermarket of inspiration, I get my inspiration. So I was in Kerala and I was toying with the idea of being a drag queen, and that's when I came across this Malayalam movie called as it was starting with Maya actually, and I'm like, hey, like it's a really good idea to put this name because Maya, if you look in Sanskrit, means illusion, means magic, and I just have to put Amma to it because all in Kerala, most of the older women or most of the women back in the days, like maybe before Britishers, were always addressed with the name Amma. So I was like, why don't I just put my Amma? And if people ask me what is the meaning, I would say I'm mother of illusion or mother of magic. And then if I have to give them more explanation, I say when I go on stage, I form the illusion of being a woman, and that is what I work from. So that is how the name Mayamma. Or then after a few years, I started getting a lot of what do you say? Messages saying that, oh, are you a transgender? Are you a transgender? And I kept thinking, okay, they might be thinking because I named myself as Mayamma that I could be, they could be mistaking me as a trans woman. So that is when I changed it to Maya, the drag queen, because the drag queen means at least people will understand. But people still don't understand. But then I was like, you know what? I just go with Maya, and that is the most beautiful. So that's how I'm stuck, or I'm happy with the name Maya the drag queen.
That's wonderful, sir.
So you talked about how people do mistake Maya the drag queen to be a transgender. So that was what was my next question. That what are the myths related to Maya that people have?
So people think Maya is a trans woman. People think Maya is a cross dresser, full-time cross dresser. People think I'm a sex seeker. People think I'm out to kill them. So with all of this coming into the picture, that's when I wrote a song called as, or I drew inspiration from Sia. She's a singer, well-known singer, famous singer. So her song is Cheap Thrills, and I made a song out of that. So if you want to like listen to the song, you can go to Instagram, iTunes, Spotify, and you'll find the song.
So, we would love to.
And that is the reason. Please do. It's everywhere. I'm just like looking forward to after everything with COVID is done, everybody's vaccinated and all of that. I would love to create a music video someday around that song. So fingers crossed. But if you listen, I mean, I'm telling the listeners, please go ahead and listen. Then you'll understand how I dealt with so much of hate which was coming my way. I just said, I'm not going to take all this hate. I'm just going to be a drag queen. And I love being a drag queen. And that is what the song is about.
Yeah. So you said like you just don't care about what people think and hate about. So how has Maya's journey been while educating and encouraging this drag culture in India? Like, was it difficult to communicate to people, or were there a lot of people who actually supported you in educating and encouraging this culture into India?
See, I'll tell you an example. So this bar it is a resto pub. They are the ones who gave me first opportunity to perform. The Humming Tree. It was based out of a place in Indranagar, Bangalore. I was performing and I had a group of people coming towards the stage and seeing me perform, cheering me on. And then there were those men and yeah, I'm mostly men. Okay, they're not happy with what I'm doing, and you can clearly see that they're uncomfortable. So I made a conscious choice that I will look out for a crowd that is cheering me on, that is ready to accept me the way I am, and I started focusing only on them. So it came to a point where I realized that I think I need to start focusing on going and educating in schools, colleges, making them understand about LGBTQ community, making them understand who's a drag queen. So I had the opportunity in 2016 to go to a school, and it's outskirts of Bangalore, and I was able to like perform in front of all the kids. And the kids were from, say, LKG to 10th standard. So they all were there, they were watching me perform. Then if you go across all my TEDx talk, I did it only in colleges. I've not done it in any other platform. So like colleges as such as Sri Guru Gobind College of Commerce, MICA, IIT Roorkee, because I understood that the future generation should be educated first, because I don't have time to educate the older generation because they are conditioned in such a way that I can't even penetrate towards them. While younger generation, they are open-minded. They're ready to learn new things. And that was my focus when I went with, okay, you know what? This is who I'm going to educate on. And I've been successful in a way because I was able to even go to educating people in the social media as well. Because whenever I was putting things out there, I was getting if out of say 10 comments, 10 encouraging comments, I was getting 2 or 3 hatred or form of hateful comments. I think my focus was more on those 10 encouraging comments than those hateful comments. Either I delete or I block, I ignore, or I mute. This is what I practice. So any form of hatred that you receive, I think you need to exercise on delete, ignore, mute, block.
So your outlook on life is great, I must say. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now I'd like to put a tricky question. I've seen your talk show, Chaya with Maya, which I personally loved. So, like, what was your motive behind starting that show? Like, what were you thinking while starting the show?
Okay. It was during the time when I think Karan Johar released his book or something like that, and he told to the media, "I'm not coming out, or I don't feel the need to say that talk about my sexuality." And I'm like, why can't you talk about your sexuality? Like, it's an open secret. Everyone knows about you. Like, you need to chill. Like, that is what my thinking was. So that is when I was like, if Karan Johar can have coffee with Karan, Maya can have chaya with Maya. And the focus on the talk show was that I educate people about the LGBT community, where I bring in people from the community and normalize it in such a way that they are like any other people. They could be actor, they could be a DJ, they could be running hotels, they could be a dancer. So I wanted to normalize it in such a way that people understand, hey, you know what? I identify with whoever Maya is bringing. I wanted to bring it to that notion. I'm not going to bring in celebrities, maybe 1 or 2 celebrities in my next future seasons, but I'm not going to only have focus on that. I want to focus on the community and talk more about the community.
So, sir, what all do you think you have achieved across these 2 years? Because as we all know, the first episode came 2 years back. So, what all do you think you have achieved across these 2 years?
Across these 2 years, I think I've at least put across what LGBTQIA community is. I mean, if people come across these episodes, they will understand what is LGBTQIA, because in those 6 episodes or 5 episodes that I did, I think I have managed to put people from different parts of the community and then introduce it through these episodes. So that's what I've achieved. My next season that I focus on is what I want to create a live audience where either live or virtual, I don't know how, but I want a virtual audience and I bring in that person from a community and we have an engaging talk about the community, about various issues that we face in the community, plus getting questions from the virtual audience or the live audience. That is something which I looking forward to the future.
Firstly, all the very best for your coming
Yes, sir.
shows.
All the best.
Yeah. And
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. And you also talked about Karan Johar, who wasn't really comfortable enough to talk about his sexuality or talk about what he actually is. But then we also see another side of Bollywood where Bollywood is coming up to take a stand for the community through, say movies like Shubh Mangal Savdhan or a lot of web series. So they have really been putting a light towards promoting LGBTQ rights. So do you really think that they have been anyways been successful in promoting the community, or have they been able to bring any sort of change?
See, what Bollywood is doing right now is showing stories where they say people like us exist. Uh, that was supposed to be shown in 90s technically, because 90s May people didn't know we exist. So what they're showing right now is that we exist, which people know. I mean, we know they exist. What more are you going to show? Like, in terms of what I appreciated more on the movie Ek Ladki Ko Dekha is where normalizing a lesbian relationship to a point where it led to marriage, because that is something which we need to talk about. Now, there are times when I am a single, I'm not dating anyone, I'm single, but I have this earning need to adopt a child from an orphanage, because orphanages are full and I would want to adopt a child and look after their well-being, but I'm not given that opportunity. Now, do a story on that. Do a story on something, a queer person wanting to adopt a person from. That is something which we are being denied outrightly, that we can't adopt or we not supposed to do surrogacy. I don't know if the law has come into it's in effect, because this has happened. This was actually like argued by I forgot her name. She passed away. She was a minister. So anyway, so coming to the point, do movies like that. We all know that we exist. People know they exist. Now, when you have a part of Bollywood that is okay by showing stuff like, Ek Ladki Ko Dekha, Kapoor and Sons. There are movies like Lakshmi, which actually makes you go backward, 2 steps backward. If you take 1 step forward, there are movies like Lakshmi, which is making the community go 2 steps backward. Now that is where I am like, then Bollywood hasn't learned anything. They are just going with the whole trend. Oh, okay, let's talk about the community. Everyone is talking about the community, social media. Let's make the content about the community. But actually create content which is, helpful for the community. Like I argued with a really close friend of mine where she showed me a short movie where it was about a guy who was actually talking about, hey, when I was a kid, I was teased of being fat, this and all that. And then suddenly, in middle of the movie, he says, I am homosexual. And I'm like, what is the connection? Why? And then in the end, I get to know that he's a serial killer. So I'm like, you are putting a negative notion to a discriminated community already. You can't be doing this. And I actually argued with her, but she was not able to understand. She was like, no, it's freedom of expression. It's about talking more about, what is the word to use? No, you should appreciate another person's content. You should not see it negatively. So then I felt like I was being gaslighted. So, but then that is a different thing to deal with. So this is the content. You should actually focus on why are you creating the content? Are you creating content for the community, or don't create content at all? We are happy. Like if you don't create content for us, we are happy. You're not actually writing wrong stuff about us, but you're actually saying the truth. All we need is the truth, and that is all we need. Like I think the reason which I appreciated a lot was a short story in Ajib Dastans, where Konkana Sen with Aditya Rao, they both are acting. It's really beautiful. It is on the lines of being a lesbian.
Okay.
And it is beautifully done. There was also a lot of topics about caste and, hierarchy in factory. All of that was put together, but it was beautifully done, and I like that short movie. So that was the latest thing from Bollywood that I appreciated a lot.
Okay, but as in there have been a little bit of good part for movies like Ajib Dastans, but also you mean to say that Bollywood is doing something that is actually worsening the situation at times, right?
Exactly. Um, Even though there was heavy PR for movie, I'm coming back to the movie Lakshmi because it was that bad of a movie. Putting stereotypes of a community which is actually been fighting towards to remove the stereotypes is not something the community will appreciate. So that is something which Bollywood needs to consciously do, not put such stereotypes in movies.
Yeah, right.
So, sir, I'd like to put forward a question that through your Instagram handle, you have been promoting and talking about body positivity and about your past experiences as well. So, if you get a chance to go back into past, what would you say to your younger self? Like, would you motivate him, or would you let him be and learn from his experiences as you did?
Um, Ideally, I would tell the only advice I would tell is not to listen to people and just listen to yourself. That is, see, in all of us, we have intuition, we have gut feeling. So when you approach a situation, you think with your intuition. You are able. That is the only advice I would give to my past self. Because in my past self, I kept listening to other people, what they thought about my drag, what they thought about my makeup, what they think about my wigs, what they think about my sari, all of that stuff. And I didn't need to do that. All I needed to do was listen to myself. If I was being happy about it, if I was being okay with it, then I think I should just go with it. That's the only thing I would tell my past self. Now, with terms of body positivity, I think back then I was really thin to a point that people thought that I came from a starvation camp, and now to a point where people call me fat. And when I look at myself, I don't see myself as fat. I see myself as healthy, because that is usually how a 6'4", 6 feet man should look like. So I think the problem right now that we are facing, and what I'm going to tell my past self as well, is that the society is never going to be happy with you, irrespective if you become fat, thin, tall, short. You have a crooked nose, you have crooked teeth, or you have great smile, you got plastic surgery done, or anything on those lines. People are still not going to be happy with you. It's just going to they're unhappy with themselves, so they start putting whatever insecurities that they are feeling on you. Like big I'll tell you a recent example of what happened. I'm wearing a Kerala sari. I went recently to Bakal for work, and I was in drag, so I was wearing a Kerala sari, and the wind was flying, so the pallu is flying. So it is literally a Bollywood moment, if I had to literally say it like that. And I posted that picture, and I had really people saying great comments from being regal, it's so beautiful, all of that, to a person in Facebook saying that is a pathetic style of dressing. Now, how should I respond to that? When I'm getting comments where they're saying it's regal, all of that, and there are person saying it's a pathetic style of dressing. So I was like, okay, this person is operating from insecurity. That insecure of being able to dress like me and being able to go outside. That is in, like I was in the resort. Yeah, I was not in the room. I was outside of the resort, and it was the sari. So that person was being insecure of the fact that I was able to do that and they're not able to do. So all I did is I just deleted the comment, because I'm like, I don't want to engage a person when they are operating from insecurity, because you don't want to engage with that. If there was a constructive criticism, yes, okay, by saying, you know what, I liked your sari, I liked your blouse, but the makeup was a little too much for me. I would engage with that person 100 times. Like, yeah, I know it's a lot louder because I'm a drag queen, all of that. I will engage with that person. But if you're operating from an insecure level, then I will shut you down. I will either delete your comment or I will not engage with you, because I don't want to engage with the person who's insecure.
Right. You know, as they say, कि कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. So, you know, all we have to do is be ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, as you said that adults are much more mature in taking criticism as of youngsters. So even though we know that law gives right to people now belonging to LGBTQIA community as well as respect, but still the youngsters prefer to stay in their bubble and like not come out of their societal barriers, as in they're scared of coming out of their societal barriers. So like what advice do you have for them, like to motivate them and asking them to like not to be scared and okay, you are fine with like the society is going to accept you?
So I'll tell you an example. I've known a lot of closeted gay men who were ready to date, ready to hook up with men when they were young. But the moment family pressure came in, they close up and they go back into the closet. But the problem here is that it's going to affect them in a long run, because they are not happy with themselves. They are not able to express themselves being a gay man. And they're not, they will have unhappy married life. So basically you're getting married to another family and you're destroying that family, whole family. Because always in Indian marriages, there's, getting two families getting married together. So if you are a closeted gay man and you're getting married to another woman, you're destroying the woman's life. So what I have to tell, this is an example for gay men. Now, for women, I would say the same thing. You will also be pressurized to get married to another guy, but you are not able to, be sexually free with yourself. So ideally, what I would tell you is, right now, it may be okay to be in the closet and it's okay to take your own time, but never, never, ever bow down to societal pressures. You take your time. Just say that you're not going to harm another human being. Just say that, okay, I will take my own sweet time to coming to terms with whatever my sexuality is, but don't ever take that step where you harm another human being's life. It may be the easiest thing to do. 100% I agree with you. It is the easiest way to go about. But ultimately, in the long run, it's going to harm you. And it's going to harm two or three families together. So what I am telling you right now is take your own sweet time educate yourself better about the community, but never bow down to societal pressures. Take your sweet time. Just try to be happy with yourself. Find that place where you can go and say, hey, I'm ready to be happy with myself. I'm ready to break out the closet. That's where you need to reach.
Yes, absolutely. So
So, sir, in the process of motivating even the youngsters and the society about the LGBTQ community, what qualities do you think Alex or Maya has that can basically motivate and encourage society towards your community?
The qualities that I have is I'm bold, I'm confident, I'm fierce, I'm kind, I'm ready to talk about the community. I'm educated myself. I don't need a certificate from a university saying that I know everything about the LGBTQI community. My whole life is about LGBTQI community. So you should come to a point where you know everything about the community. If you are part of the community, your goal is to be like, hey, I know each and everything about the community. That is where I have reached. So that is something which a quality that everyone should have. Even if they're an ally, they should be able to say, hey, you know what? I learned so much that I'm able to, speak more about the community. I may not be a part of the community, but I'm ready to even educate other person about the community. So that is qualities that people all should have.
yes, absolutely. So the session has been really good. It's a lot of stuff that we are taking home after the session. And firstly, before anything I say, I would like to congratulate you because as you said that it would be 7th birthday of Maya in this September. So that's a great thing. So many congratulations for that. And
Also, sir, it was a pleasure
Thank
having you
you.
here.
and
Thank you so much. I
yeah.
enjoyed this whole podcast. I was not bored at all. I was engaged. I was able to talk even better. You guys actually, it was a mix and match of the questions are mix and match, but it was great. I liked how it flew. So thank you so much once again for inviting me to be part of this podcast.
And
Thank you so much, sir.
and you also talked about how we are living at a place where people already now know about that people from LGBTQI exist, but what we need to do is to make this world a better place to live for them. So as far as I am concerned, that is my opinion. We will definitely do some event,
Yes.
something that can help the community and make this.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, what I wanted to, sorry to cut you off, but what I wanted to say was, don't focus about the LGBT community only on a month or an event or a day. Focus on them 365 days. So if you have one day where you want to appreciate someone from the community, call them, ask them to give a talk, ask them questions, engage, understand more from them. And that is something which you need to do. Like, being aware of the community is a 365-day job. So you need to, because we have to get over our conditioning. Even I am conditioned to a certain point. So I have to always remove the conditioning for me to understand things better. So that's something which we all need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talked about the problems or the societal barriers that you faced, what I really think is that, when we see people like you, so people from the community are so, so their brain is so well developed, as in they are so broad minded. So it is kind of a societal strategy to make them feel demeaned so that, they don't overpower. So I really feel that that is the thing the society needs to accept. And it was really great to meet you, to have you over here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you.
Yeah. So I think now we can end the session, so, and it's been really beautiful. You have
Okay.
been really a source of inspiration, and thank you so much for.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.